So we're doing HTML. Hypertext is an essential part of the part of HTML. And you'll notice that in the document we've been working on, we've got that big old nasty looking URL for more information about the phone. So let's make that into a link so that we're actually linking. I'm going to pull up the document we've been working on. I've blown it up a little bit. So I'm looking at this line here where it says to see more information, go to, it has this URL which is really long. Not only is that ugly, let me bring up the browser real quick. Not only is that ugly down here, not only is it ugly, but it's not useful. I'd have to go like this, and then I'd have to copy it, and then I'd have to paste it up here, and then I could go, and that's just lame. So instead, I'm going to make this into a link, and I'm not even going to use the URL. It's really bad form to show a URL on the site. I think they're ugly. I think they should be hidden from users' view whenever possible. So let's take a look at our code and see how we can hide this. Go see more about it at the Motorola. So that's a much nicer way to do it, at the Motorola site, right? We wanted to say at the Motorola site. Now, how do we make this into a link? It would make sense if we could just do something like link and link. But strangely enough, link is not a tag that we could use. Instead, we're going to use the A tag. The A tag is a weird thing for a link. Why? How does A become a link? Well, there's a long story behind that. It's actually for anchor, but we don't need to know any of that. All we need to know is that the A tag makes for links. So some tags, in fact, most tags, and from now on we'll have very few of these bare tags. Usually you have some attributes, that is kind of options. Like when you start the dishwasher, there's the dishwasher, but then there's all or the clothes washer, there's all the options that you can take before you actually start it, like whether it's delicate. Who uses the delicate setting? Maybe I just don't have delicate clothing. Anyway, it has all the little options that allow you to do certain things. And so one of the options, and it's an option you have to have, is the Href option. We say in this case Href is equal to something in quotes, and the thing that's in quotes is the URL you want it to go to. So I'm just going to copy this, cut it, and put it in here. So let me back up here for a second. The structure of attributes is always the same. It's always in the opening tag, never in the closing tag. And in the opening tag, you have something that says something equals something in quotes. In this case, it's href, which is the HTML reference, or the reference to the HTML page, and it says go to href, and it's this whole thing in quotes. Okay. So now, if we go to that, it will change this section, these things inside the A tag, into a link. I'll refresh, and now I have something that takes me to the link. Pretty cool. That's what HTML is for. That's what makes it hypertext. I forgot the period over here. I'll put it in real quick. That's what makes HTML hypertext. I missed that period. Let's see if I put it back in the right place. There it is. So why isn't the period part of the link? Because you'll see I end the link text right there. It ends with the /a. Then I have a period. Then there's the end of the paragraph. Okay. So that's great. So that's great for linking to web pages out on the web. What if I want to link to something locally? What if I want to link to something right around here? Let's say I had a picture of the phone I wanted to use. Do a quick search and get a picture. There we go. We'll use this one. I'm just going to right-click and save image, and I'll move it over here so we can find it. Actually, I don't want to just move it onto the desktop. I want to move it into the folder that I'm using to develop the site. Okay. So here's the index page that we've been working on, and now I've just moved the droid.jpg. Now, normally you link to HTML pages, but I'm going to instead link directly to an image. You normally wouldn't do that, but I'll give it a run for now. Here is a picture, and we'll make the word picture into a link. And here we're going to say that the link is droid, whoops. And I'll refresh. Okay, now we have a new link here, and it links to the picture. Now, a quick note here. I told you what the first most common mistake that new people make is. Now I'll show you the second most common mistake. Or search. Do you see what's wrong with this? Go to and that's Google is the link text, that's great. But look at that URL. There's a problem with that URL. Let's try it and see what happens. If I click on this, it can't find it. Let me show you why. In this case, we say go to droid.jpg, and if you don't have HTTP there or anything, it looks in the same folder, the same directory that you're in right now. So because it has droid.jpg right in the directory there, no problem. Here, because it has HTTP, it knows that we want to use Hypertext Transfer Protocol. We want to move things from elsewhere on the web, so it knows to go out on the web to find this. Here, we haven't used HTTP, so it's looking in our own folder for a document called google.com. So it's really important that you include the HTTP if you're doing an external link. Oops. HTTP://. Now we'll save it, and we'll take another look. Refresh. And now it worked. As long as we're here and I'm looking at it, I want to add one more note. What if we wanted to make the little C for copyright? What would we do? We're going to use something called an HTML entity. HTML entities start with the ampersand and end with the semicolon, and then there's something in there. It can either be a number or a hash number or some kind of a code. We'll try copy. Go back to the browser and refresh. And you'll notice that it's made the little C there. There are a number of things that we need to use these entities for. The most obvious is if we want to talk about HTML at all. So, for example, if I want to say this is and I try to load that in the browser, I think you can predict what's going to happen. It's down here at the bottom. It says this is an tag. It doesn't show it at all. It might even break the browser because you're putting a tag there where it doesn't belong. So instead of using the greater than and less than there, you have to give an HTML entity. So in this case it's less than, I always confuse these two, we'll see if I can get it, and greater than, and then we'll refresh. And so in this case it does it because it's putting the greater than and less than symbols there. Go ahead and erase this. It's a good idea to use those with lots of different things. Whenever you can use them, it's a good idea to use them. We might want to do in, for example, an M dash. So an M dash is the long dash. Usually in typing it's done as a double hyphen, two hyphens, one after another. And here you see it puts in a nice long dash the way it should be for us. So these are called HTML entities. You can download a list of them. There's actually some really fun ones. I'll link to a link of some of the fun ones that will allow you to do some text manipulation, and you're all set. So you can now link things together. This is the basics of navigation. If we wanted this to be a 2 or a 3 page site, we would just have page 1, page 2, and page 3 in a menu that linked to each of those pages inside the same folder. All right, we've linked to an image. Let's do the next step, which is including the image on the page itself. And we'll do that next time. Thanks.